To get a BOM parts and assembly quote online, simply click on the Request a Quote button. Once the form loads, start out by defining your board type. Then enter your part number and revision. This helps keep track of all your parts, track revisions, and easily place repeat orders. Next, we need to select the services we require, so click on the BOM parts and assembly checkboxes. Finally, mention the quantities you would like Rush PCB to provide you a quote on and click on the next step. Start off by uploading your BOM file or dragging and dropping your BOM file in the drop zone area. To ensure highest efficiency in finding your parts, please make sure your BOM is formatted properly, or you could download and use our reference BOM file as a means for defining your BOM parts. After your BOM file is loaded into our system, define the required manufacturing part number and quantity columns within your BOM by selecting the appropriate options from the dropdown. You can also define columns like reference designator, description, or DNI/DNP parts, which are not compulsory but help perform additional checks on your BOM parts. On clicking Next, our system will present your BOM information in an easy-to-understand layout, where you can customize it according to your preferences. Our system analyzes your data and automatically pre-selects invalid parts. You can go ahead and click the Delete Selected button to eliminate those parts. Make sure the right data has been imported into the system by comparing information like total and unique parts against your original BOM file. You can review all your BOM parts along with their associated quantities. You can also have a quick view of part description and reference designator if you have defined them. On the right, you have additional options where you can mark the parts you do not want us to install or the parts that you would like to consign. These parts will be left out of your total part cost. Once you have reviewed all the information, click on the next step to proceed further. If you have reference designators defined, our tool will automatically compare the defined reference designators against the quantities for each of the parts and will report any mismatches or duplicates that it encounters. You can go back and resolve those issues or ignore the warnings and proceed further. Our tool then fetches part information across several vendors, computes the data to find the best parts based on stock, price, and lead times, then generates a RFQ within a couple of minutes. You can also download the generated RFQ file in Excel format to view vendor information, data sheets, stock, and an array of other information processed from your BOM file. Start your assembly quote by defining your board size in inches. If your board is set up as an array, click the checkbox and define the array size. Then proceed to enter your board thickness. These options might not be visible to you if you have already filled them out if you had selected PCB manufacturing as one of your requested services. To give you an accurate quote, Rush PCB requires information of the assembly details like types of components, how many of them, and where you would like them to be placed, so that we can provide you the most accurate quote in a matter of seconds. First, select the assembly sides. If the parts need to be placed top side, bottom side, or both. Next, define the total line items. In other words, the total unique parts within your BOM. And finally, the total components, which is a total of all the part quantities that are present in one kit. We also need to break down the types of your components to calculate an instant quote. So start by providing the total number of PTH components your board has. If your board has QFNs or BGAs, please set their quantities per board accordingly. Next, define the standard SMDs. These are usually two-terminal devices like resistors, capacitors, diodes. Three-terminal devices like SOT, small outline transistors. We have a handy little information panel on the right that tells you the number of parts defined against the expected number of component totals, so you can keep a quick track of your numbers. Now, go ahead and define the number of fine pitch ICs, which are SMDs with a pin-to-pin pitch of 25 mils or less. followed by all the large devices. This includes any heat sinks you might have on your board, and finally, if you have any press-fit connectors or modules on your board. The bottom section you can specify if you require ITAR or Class 3 services. Define if your board contains small components, including footprints of 01005, 0201, or 0402. You can also mention if you would require conformal coating or depanels the board after assembly, then click the Next Step button to proceed to the next step.